on, everybody, and welcome back to Bourbon of the Week. My name's Chris. I'm going to be your host for today, and today we have a little bit different of a video for you. I have my friends Josh and Aaron from StuffandWhiskey joining me today. Basically, what we have is Pennsylvania versus Tennessee. I sent them 2 samples of some fine wine and good spirit store picks. They sent me 2 samples of the same things just from Tennessee. So their Russell's Reserve store pick is a Nashville Bourbon Social Club, Arnold's After Dark pick, Warehouse F, Floor 4, 8 years, 3 months. Their Buffalo Trace store pick comes from Syracuse Wine and Spirits. Again, both of mine coming from fine wine and good spirits. So we have our Buffalo Trace, we have our Russell's Reserve. These are all poured up blind from my wife Marissa. We have our answer key in our glass over here. We're going to try out each one of these. We're going to pick our favorite, and we're going to see who wins Tennessee versus Pennsylvania. Let's get into this. Time for the traditional sip. Cheers, y'all. It's going to be good. So I am going to get us started over here with our Buffalo Trace pick before I send it over to Josh and Aaron. Again, if you haven't already subscribed to Josh and Aaron at Stuff and Whiskey, you're missing out. Their videos are immaculate production-wise. They have an amazing whiskey collection. The two of them, the banter back and forth is just so fun to watch. It's so, what's the word that I'm looking for? Genuine, and it's so real. It's just like two people literally who love drinking whiskey and who love doing these videos together, putting out amazing content. So make sure you check out Stuff and Whiskey. But let's get into this pick here before we introduce you to them. I have 2 Buffalo Traces here. Mine, I haven't had in a long time. Their pick, obviously, I have never had before. We have both glasses poured up blind with our answer key here from Marissa. So we're going to find out what's what and what we like the best. Let's try this one more time. Now, I didn't watch any of their video. I watched the very first couple of seconds and the very last couple of seconds just because I wanted to make sure our transitions made sense. I saw Aaron talking a little bit of trash at the beginning there, but not too much. I'm wearing my Flyers. I know the Flyers are doing terrible this year. If you're a Philly fan, if that's why you're here from the Pennsylvania area, I'm right there with you. I'm sorry. I love the Nashville Predators, though. I would love to go to a Preds game. The stadium looks awesome. Looks like a lot of fun. So if I ever do get down to visit Josh and Aaron, we're definitely going to a Flyers-Preds game. I don't know how big of hockey fans they are, but we're going anyway. Enough about all that. This first glass is, when it comes to Buffalo Trace, underwhelming is the word that I want to use. It's not that great. I think it has a little bit of a weird, funky taste to it myself. You're still getting a little bit of sweetness, right? The fruity notes off the front of this. A little bit of spice, a little bit more spice than I'm used to getting on this. This is only a 90 proof bourbon, obviously. It is a single barrel, so I'm curious what differs between this glass and this glass, right? I've had original Buffalo Trace that's not a single barrel store pick. I've had this Buffalo Trace that is a single barrel store pick, but those are my only 2 comparisons. I haven't tried another single barrel store pick, so I'm interested to see how much this changes or if it's the same thing. Let's try it out and let's see. Then we'll pick which one we think wins round 1 Buffalo Trace. Okay, that is worlds different to me. That is very fruit forward, very sweet, very well balanced, very well put together. This one almost has like a little bit of a bitter note to it, almost like a tannic note, something weird on the end of this that I don't like. Everything else is there Buffalo Trace wise. Normally when I'm drinking Buffalo Trace, I can tell that that's what it is. You can just kind of start to roll through some of these lineups and start to pick them out as far as when you know what they are, right? I know that these are Buffalo Trace. In my mind, it's clicking that it's Buffalo Trace. This one though, feels like it's Buffalo Trace just on another level that I'm not used to it being at. Your brown sugar, your caramels, your oaks, the fruity notes on the front, a little bit of cinnamon. This one definitely a little more spicy, but I don't know if it's an ethanol spice or a cinnamon or a spice, like a rye spice. But it's interesting that this one is so much different. And I can tell you right now, I like this one a lot better. This one's easy to call for me. I don't think I have any question in the back of my mind that my plain glass over my rabbit hole glass is going to be my pick for the Buffalo Trace. And I just don't really think that it's a competition on this one. So I'm not going to reveal to you what it is right now, but I will say the plain glass is going to be my winner of the Buffalo Trace pick. The sweet notes, the well-roundedness, the mouthfeel, no dryness, while I get a little bit of dryness on this one. But let's send it over to Stuff and Whiskey for their Russell's Reserve review, and you guys can meet them real quick. Let's do this.
Hey, thanks so much for having us on, Chris. Yep, absolutely, man. Thank you so much. We are Josh and Aaron from StuffandWhiskey. For anybody that doesn't know us, but we started our channel last year, and blind tastings just like this are our bread and butter. That's what we love to do the most.
So we are very excited to see Tennessee beat Pennsylvania.
She's already talking trash. So we've got 2 store picks here, as you guys already know, but these are 2 of our favorite store picks on the market, Buffalo Trace and Russell's Reserve. And being here in Nashville, Tennessee, we kind of pride ourselves as a really big store pick town, and we're close to Kentucky, so we feel like we get some really good picks. I'm hoping that what this trash that she's talking, I'm hoping our picks back it up. So we're going to start, we have our Buffalo Trace here and our Russell's picks here. We're going to start with glass 1 on our Russell's picks. So cheers to you.
Cheers.
Cheers, Chris. Cheers, Bourbon of the Week audience. Wow, that's really fruit forward.
Yeah.
Like for a Russell's pick, that's very fruit forward.
Yeah. I'm getting fruitiness.
Yep. Fruitiness, a little bit of ethanol, you know, not much of the turkey funk. Let's get into the palate.
There's some fruitiness, but it's spicy up front.
Yeah. That fruitiness kind of lays really heavy on the tongue with like a kind of red apple cherry sweetness. But then on top of that, almost like the spice just came and sat on the fruit.
Yeah.
And it just swells up mid-palate.
Like not today fruit.
Yeah. You get some of that turkey, that cinnamon from wild turkey that I really love a ton, that I get in rare breed and you know, these 100+ proof pours.
Yeah.
You know, you even get a little bit in Wild Turkey 101. I'm going to go in for one more sip on this one just to familiarize myself for science purposes.
I've already had 2 sips. I'm a fast sipper.
All right. On sip number 2, for me, the spice tamed down and some more of that turkey funk came out. Like some of that funky oak that you sometimes like to say stinky feet.
Stinky feet. I got a little tiny whiff of stinky feet on the nose, but I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah. I think it's that kind of the oak, the leather that comes through on some of the turkey products. I'm getting that on glass 1 quite a bit on that second sip. Let's get into glass 2.
Ooh, glass 2 is different. It smells lighter. Like brighter. Not necessarily lighter. It smells a little brighter.
Yeah, it definitely smells, to me, brighter and lighter. A little bit less concentrated on the fruity sweetness on the nose. That's tamped down. And it's more of like the turkey funk coming through, but it's bright. Just on the nose, it just doesn't smell like it's going to be as concentrated. We'll see if that holds up on the palate.
It's a little more dry than the first one.
Yeah, it's more of like a dry, kind of bitter oak. More tame.
Not super bitter, but very like tamped down.
Yeah, tamped down. It's a little bit more velvety on the mouthfeel. Like it's really silky on the mouthfeel, where glass 1 on the turkey side was way more spicy and aggressive. This is a little bit more silky, smooth, if you will. But it's really more rounded, but maybe a little less flavor. I'm going to need another sip just to be sure. Okay, on second sip for me, I'm getting way more of the turkey funk. Like if you are a fan of the turkey funk and you can really ID that in a glass, there's more of that in glass 2 for sure. I'm getting more funky oak in glass 2, whereas on glass 1, I'm getting more fruit and spice.
I think for me, these are 2 different moods.
Yeah.
I would want to be in 2 different moods to drink either one.
They almost are. I'm going to go back to glass 1 real quick. I know you've been going back and forth. Mm-hmm. But on the nose, going back to glass 1, it smells even more fruity than it did even initially. Wow. It's the fruit's jumping out of the glass now.
I've got my favorite, but it literally is based on the mood I'm in tonight. Because I think they're both good, actually.
All right. If you've got a favorite, hit us with it.
I do.
Okay.
So I think it's because of the competition. I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. So glass 1 is my favorite. That being said, I could go for glass 2 on a different night if I was feeling a little more tame.
Okay. For me, I'm going to go with glass 1 too. It's unanimous over here. I can't wait to see what Chris picks.
Yeah.
But for me, that's really what it comes down to. Glass 2 it's just lacking the fruit, like the cherry and cinnamon notes that are in glass 1. And if I wanted more of an easy sipping experience, that's when that mood would hit me and I would reach more for glass 2. But the oak is sweeter on glass 1 and the cinnamon and that cherry fruit note come through so well. It's definitely my pick on the Russells. Let's send it back to Chris and see what he gets on these 2 Russells picks.
Interesting indeed, Josh and Aaron. So we're going to find out. We're going to do our Russells pick now. They picked their favorite. We don't know which one it is yet. I've honestly got to do this review. I have to go watch their video, and then I got to come back to give you guys a score on all this, which makes it even more exciting for me because I don't know who's going to win what, let alone who's going to win mine over here. But let's get into this Russell's Reserve pick. The Russell's Reserve they had again, Warehouse F, Floor 4, 8 years, 3 months. Mine is Warehouse B, Floor 4, and mine is 8 years, 10 months. So I'm again interested to see if these two differ slightly, a lot. These two differed a lot more than I was expecting. I expected it to be closer, but this plain glass, whichever one that is, blew it out of the water when it comes to this pick over here. So let's see. Let's try our first sip on these. Listen, no matter what this second glass does, this Russell's Reserve pick is just fantastic. Absolutely love it. It's delicious. Russell's Reserve is easily one of my favorite lines when it comes to like easy to find, always on the shelf bourbons. I can't really ever pass up, especially a single barrel. Again, this is the only fine wine and good spirits single barrel that I had. I had a Panache Liquors, I think I had a single barrel Russell's Reserve. I have a regular single barrel that isn't a store pick. It's just a single barrel pick that I got out of New Jersey as well. I literally pick up these single barrels every time I have a chance because I think value-wise, they're one of the greatest bottles that I can keep on the shelf regularly. Now, compare that to something like Buffalo Trace, where these single barrel store picks, especially here in Pennsylvania, are few and hard to come by. It's just nice knowing that this will always be around and always be a very high quality bottle. But let's get into our second pick. First glass, very good. Brown sugar, fruity notes, very well balanced. I'm getting all of the notes that I would love to get from Wild Turkey. We're talking 75, 13, 12 on this. Wild Turkey just seems to put out the perfectly well balanced mash bill for me. It's just my favorite mash bill lineup. Old Forester's kind of sneaking in there, but Wild Turkey, all of them, from the 101 all the way up to the Rare Breed, I get a very similar flavor profile. It differs across quality, if you ask me, and that's the only thing that they change. Let's get into our second glass, though, and then we'll make a decision on which one we like better. So these Russell Reserve picks are definitely closer when it comes to how good they are compared to the Buffalo Trace. I think this was easy to pick. This one's a lot closer for me than the Buffalo Trace one was. I get very similar notes on this one. I think I'm just lacking a little bit of spice on this first one. Still has the spice, but this one just comes at me a little bit harder. Still fruity, still delicious, still vanilla caramel oak. Maybe a hint of cherry in there as well. But this one just, the spice is there. It's just toned down compared to this one. And I can promise you that when it comes to my particular flavor profiles, I like something that touches on a lot of different scales, right? Highs, lows, in the middles, everything. This one definitely does it, but it's almost like, it's like a small wave, while this one's riding a big wave. I get all of those fruity notes at the beginning. I'm getting a lot of spice in the middle. I'm getting a pretty good oak on the end. I'm getting some leather. I'm getting all of that age that comes behind this 8 years, whatever it is, 8 years, 3 months, or 8 years, 10 months. This one, again, just seems ever so slightly toned down to me compared to this glass over here. So I'm going to go 2 for 2 on the plain glasses here, and that scares me because I don't know Marissa. I do know Marissa. She's my wife. I don't know if she would pour the Stuff and Whiskey in both rabbit holes and mine in the same, so one of these just won both, or if she's going to mix it up to try to mess with me. If I do know her, she's going to mix it up, so my guess, I'm going to guess here. I like to guess. I picked one of each. I'm just not sure which one of each, but let's not hold you in suspense any longer. Let's get to the big reveal. Drum roll, please. So here we go. We picked the plain glass on each of these. I'm going to reveal mine. We'll send it back over to Stuff and Whiskey to do their Buffalo Trace one. They'll reveal theirs. I'll go watch their videos, and then I'll give you a total at the end. And the answer key is, plain glass for Buffalo Trace is Stuff and Whiskey. So Tennessee takes round one, at least for me. I don't know what they picked on theirs yet. I'm hoping it's close. If I picked both Tennessee and they picked both Tennessee and we get swept, that's going to be embarrassing. But I actually have a sweep emoji because Weller just beat Maker's Mark on the King of the Weededs. So that'll be nice to use again. I won't have to find something else. But as of right now, Stuff and Whiskey up 1-0 for me on the Buffalo Trace side of things. Let's get into the Russell's Reserve. I loved my Russell's Reserve pick. I'd be very interested to see if Nashville Bourbon Social Club can beat what they did in Fine Wine and Good Spirits. And the blank glass for me, for the Russell's Reserve, is my pick. So that's mine. That is what we have. We have 1 Pennsylvania, 1 Tennessee, We're going to send it back over to Josh and Aaron to see what they picked on the Buffalo Trace, and then we'll bring it back here to tally everything up to see who really is king of the single barrel store picks. Cheers.
All right, let's get into our tasting notes on these Buffalo Trace picks and our handy dandy Bourbon of the Week, Glencairns.
Yes. Oh, whoa. So fruity.
Yeah. Smells like Buffalo Trace.
It smells like a lifesaver. Like in the little rainbow packs. Like the rainbow lifesavers.
That's a really good note. That's spot on. I'm not going to be able to smell anything else other than that now.
Can we taste it?
That's exactly what it, That's exactly what it smells like, a lifesaver. I'm not going to get anything else. Like the translucent,
the fruity
hard,
ones. The fruit lifesavers, yeah. It's very mild.
Yep. I mean, that's Buffalo Trace
All
for you.
I'm getting is mild. That's my flavor.
Yeah. I'm getting a really classic Buffalo Trace profile on this one, which to me is kind of like a green apple, red apple. Mm-hmm. That those caramel and brown sugar notes kind of go to the background, and the fruity sweetness is pushed to the forefront. And there's even like, to me, Buffalo Trace comes across with this white table sugar note to it. And I think that's the artificial candy.
I can get
that
with
the fruity sweetness.
Sugar. Yeah.
So I think that's what I'm getting on glass one. I will say, I think I'm getting more oak on this than the standard Buffalo Trace.
Interesting.
I would have to compare them side by side to know for sure. But on standard Buffalo Trace, I get a little bit of a sour note on the finish. And this doesn't have that. This is just hitting me with like a nice oaky note on the back end. I'm going to take one more sip for science. I definitely get more caramel coming across in sip 2. The fruitiness chills out a little bit, and I start to get a little bit more of the deeper bourbon flavors. That's a good Buffalo Trace store pick right there. I would be very happy. We've got quite a few Buffalo Trace store picks in the house, and that is definitely a good one. I'm pointing at this bottle. I don't know that it's that bottle. Really, I should be pointing at that glass.
Yes,
so maybe it's just a subconscious thing. But it's been a while. We purposely, by the way, did not dip into either one of these bottles for a long time before filming this because we didn't want to have any recency bias or recognition.
Yeah.
We like to keep our blinds truly blind. So, glass 2. Wow.
It smells like the lifesaver grew up a little.
This smells quite different. It's more rich and concentrated.
Yeah, it grew up. It kind of lived a hard life.
Yeah.
This one is the Rainbow Lifesaver pack that lived a hard life.
Yeah. It's been on the streets. Somebody dropped it.
Jaded.
Somebody kicked it down the road on accident.
Angry.
Man, it's almost got a little funk on it.
Let's taste
with the oak.
Let's taste it. Can we taste it?
Yeah, we can taste it. Let's get into it.
Oh, whoa. This tastes like I taste the funk. Who's got the funk? This glass has the funk.
Somebody cut her off. So I'm not getting nearly the fruity sweetness on this second glass.
Not as much.
It's much more on the dark flavor profile, and the oak that's there is more at the forefront. Whereas like this was fruity sweet with the oak in the background, kind of following it up.
Agreed.
Like this is the fruit is the lead singer, and then the oak is the like backup singers. Is that what they're called? What are they called?
Background vocalists.
Yeah, there you go. This glass is like now the background vocalists have rebelled and they have pushed the lead singer off the stage.
They got their own record deal.
The fruit took a nosedive, and we're all up in the oak right now. I'm gonna take one more sip just to see if that holds. Oh, sorry, I had to stop because I had to go back to the nose right before I took a sip, and the nose is becoming more well-rounded with caramel, vanilla. Wow, I'm getting a lot of vanilla on this glass now, like a vanilla ice cream.
I can see the vanilla, like a French vanilla, not a vanilla bean.
Okay, wow, that one got more tame on the second sip for me. That's like the theme of the night here, it seems like. First sip on a glass comes through pretty aggressive. Maybe this is my third sip on this glass. I don't know, I've lost count.
Yeah.
Who can keep up? Okay, that's very interesting. It's definitely still on the darker side. Are you still getting that? Is this like the light side versus the dark side right here?
Yeah, this is like lighter, and this is darker and a little heavier. This is interesting.
Okay, to me, after going back to glass 1, that little bit of sour tinge that I get on the standard Buffalo Trace offering is what I'm getting on glass 1. Glass 1's a little bit more like you don't want to think about it. It's going to be an easy sipper, just generally sweet.
Yeah.
It's a little thin compared to glass 2 after coming back to it. Glass 2 was definitely more heavy-handed. We both tend to like a little bit more complexity as long as things are fairly well-rounded.
Balanced, yeah.
So that is of note, like our personal preferences as far as which one of these we would pick. So Hit us with it. What do you think about these Buffalo Trace picks?
So I like them both. I think I agree. Glass 1 is pretty light. I would call it an easy sipper.
Mm-hmm.
But I appreciate the flavors in glass 2, I think, better. Once I had a few sips, the funkiness kind of wore off a little bit and it became a little more tame. And I liked the richness that this offered at the lower proof point.
I'm going to be in the same boat. We are in agreement again.
That doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah, if you guys ever check our channel out, that usually we do tend to disagree more than we do agree.
Yeah.
But as far as this goes, I agree, and I agree for the same reasons. Glass 1 is good. It's kind of like a summertime, hot weather, hanging out outside, easy sipper. Whereas Glass 2 is something I would love to sit down with at the end of the night and pick apart a little bit. I think there's some complexity there. And then after having Glass 2 and going back to Glass 1, that little bit of sour note, only in comparison did it come out, but it was a little off-putting for me. So I'm going Glass 2 on our Buffalo Trace picks. Let's just find out at the same time.
Okay. Pennsylvania won this one.
Wow.
Pennsylvania coming through with those strong flavors.
Pennsylvania wins.
We appreciate.
Wow.
All right.
Okay, that's so funny because when I've tried this non-blind, it is more oaky than a standard Buffalo Trace, but it is generally on profile.
Yeah.
But that Pennsylvania pick of Buffalo Trace is fantastic. So congratulations on that bottle,
Chef's
Chris.
kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That was good.
Let's get into our Russell's picks.
Okay.
We unanimously agreed that Glass 1 was our favorite with that cherry sweetness and the cinnamon spice.
Yep.
Man, after that first round, I'm really nervous, guys. I don't want to lose this.
We're going to lose.
Let's find out.
I either win all the way or I lose all the way. This is how I roll.
Glass 1, our winner is...
Pennsylvania. Russell's, Pennsylvania.
Chris, man, what is up? Oh,
Hats
man.
off to you, sir. You picked some good ones. They were delicious.
Oh,
what
man.
can I say?
I cannot believe this. Yeah, these are two great picks. So that just goes to show you, just because we're in Nashville, just because we're an hour drive from the state line and close a couple hours from a lot of the Kentucky distilleries, it doesn't mean, I guess, that our picks are any better than anybody else's picks. It's the luck of the draw when you get those barrels. I cannot wait to see which one Chris picks.
I know. I'm very interested because what if he picks Tennessee?
That would be wild. I guess we got to move to Pennsylvania and he's got to move to Tennessee then.
No, I like it here.
Yeah, I do too. But nonetheless, Pennsylvania picks represent. Chris, thanks again for having us on, man. What do you got for these? Hit us with it.
So there we have it, folks. 3-1. Tennessee losing to Pennsylvania. Very happy it worked out that way, being on the Pennsylvania side of things. But I gotta tell you, Tennessee put up a strong battle here. Nashville Bourbon Social Club is on my radar. If I can ever find some of their bottles, they seem like they know what they're doing, and they're putting out some good picks. The Iroquois Wine and Spirits, that Buffalo Trace pick is absolutely fantastic. So you can't knock any of these picks that were above tonight. I want to thank Josh and Aaron for joining me. Again, it was awesome to have you on the channel. If you're not checking out Stuff and Whiskey, click that link in the description below and go subscribe to their channel right now. But that's where we're going to leave you for today. Make sure you check me out on Instagram at BourbonOfTheWeek. If you want to check me out on Patreon to help support the channel financially, check out our Patreon. I'll leave that in the description below. And if you want to chat with us 24/7, come join our Discord. We're always chatting bourbon on that all of the time. Please don't drink and drive. Drink responsibly. And as always, stay healthy, stay happy, stay drinking. Cheers, y'all. Tennessee.